Man, did I miss playing Star Wars Legion. Finally got a game in this weekend that I actually remembered to take pictures of, and we're going Empire Heavy Scout versus Droidekas Heavy Hero. Pretty good game. Setup was frontline battle, and then we had to try and... No, not frontline battle. We had to go opposite-ended fucking deployments and then breakthrough. So here's the lineup for that. Here's some action shots of my boys down below. Basically, I set up and I run them up and I basically get behind cover as fast as possible. Nothing too fancy footwork here. And then here's the battle line as it kind of forms up. All my boys rush forward, get the battle line going, scouts running out. There's old Veers in the middle, ready to hand out his search tokens and name tokens like the little boss that he is. Here's all my scout troopers with Iden. I run Iden with a heavy scout presence, and everyone has duck and cover. And they more or less work around Iden and use her cards to the best of their ability. And these guys can do a massive amount of damage with Iden by their side, all things considered. And here's how the battle looks after the first turn. First turn, nothing really much happened, but we all ran up. I got scouts in the building over here. And I got my scouts laid out. I got mostly everyone kind of pushed up in the cover where they can get it. He's pushed up Cad Bane behind that building. And I'm going to learn about Cad Bane pretty quick. As you can see, Cad Bane is peeking through the fucking window at my scout troopers. I was like, it's just Cad Bane. My boys got, duck and cover, low profile. They're in a building, got a little bit of cover there. Should be fine. But turns out things were not going to be as fine as I would hope. After he moves Cad Bane, I move up Iden. I make Iden do one of her cards. I can't remember which one it was. Was it a card? I did 7 to her, pushed her up, gave her a name token, and she was taking pot shots at some of the droids with a gangster gat. And then Cad Bane decides to remove that entire squad of scouts. I was blown away by how proficient he was at his shots, and of course I roll no saves. So that was a bit depressing. I was one less scout squad, and it hit pretty hard. And then here comes old not Count Dooku, but Grievous. Grievous, I got a little bit too close, pushed up just a little too close to be able to get in Grievous, and Grievous hops over the fucking rock, wheezing. Wheezing and jumping, and he's now in my Empire squad there. And as you can imagine, things don't go too good for that squad. But yeah, so he fucking jumps in, takes out that squad, and then Iden had a standby token. So as he was charging from that little point over here to here, Iden popped her standby and put 3 wounds on him, and then these scouts over here put more wounds on them too. More or less, they're firing at the asthmatic robot as fast as they could. That's how that looks like pretty much. Iden pushed out into the middle there, trying to get line of sight on Dooku. Scouts moving up, the rest of the troopers moving up. Nothing too fancy here. Here's a greater view of the board. You can see all my stormtroopers moving up through the center, kind of closing in, making a nice big wide flank, while the heavies hold the left side as long as they can. I hadn't played against Kurt in a while, and he goes hero heavy, and I make a critical mistake with my Iden, because I didn't really understand that Dooku had a relentless card, and of course he played it, and I got caught off guard playing my concussion card. So unfortunately, Iden's not long for this world. So my plan, right here, I clean off Grievous. My plan was to push up my scout troopers just within range and start laying down the hate. Unfortunately, Cad Bane and Dooku had a few surprises I had forgotten about because I hadn't played in a while. So unfortunately, Kurt got the better of me here on this particular flank. But I'm mostly worried because the objective is breakthrough. So I need to get all my stormtroopers across that battlefield as fast as possible. And he knows that. That's why there's droids up here on a little platform, droids stacked up behind heavy cover. He's just plinking, he's just fucking firing every shot he can at me, especially the Droidekas, and trying to whittle me down so I can't push that flank as heavily as I want to. But unfortunately for him, here's a pick here. He stacked up pretty hard. He's got elevation to negate some of my cover, And then his big squad's got heavy cover, and he's got these droidicas over here to the left laying down suppressive fire. So he's trying to push hard into my strong flank with his heroes and hold off my big flank push with my stormtroopers. As you can see, they're pushing in. I got boys in the trees, boys in the crater, boys behind the walls, and all these troopers here, most of them have fragmentation grenades. So my goal is to run up within range 1 to 2 and start just fucking Hail Marying frags, because those white dice don't do much when they're shooting, unfortunately. Here's my scout squads moving up. I'm trying to manage Cad Bane and Dooku, but he put every single hero on that side, and you know, Dooku, Grievous, and Cad Bane are nothing to sneeze at, and I only had Iden there with 3 scout squads, so I am undergunned in this particular situation, which is unfortunate. And then Count Dookie walks up to Iden, and you know, I'm thinking I got red dice. It should be fine. I should be able to weather this storm. But as many of you will probably know, my dice rolls aren't really all that great. So Dooku walks up, does his thing, and then my Empire troopers move up here. They toss their frags, clear off a few droids from the top of the platform, and then Cad Bane jumps up on top of the building because he can do that. As you can see, Dooku standing there alone. Well, I failed every single red dice armor save she had. He did a lot of wounds. I expected that, but I thought, hey, it'll be fine. I'll make some saves here. Didn't make a single save, so Iden goes down like a punk. And frankly, it hurt my feelings a little bit. I wasn't expecting that to happen. I could have popped her little card ability, but I thought I should be fine. Empire troopers moving up, taking the high ground, trying to get in there and negate some of that cover. We did the math. Turns out I put them down to light cover behind there, so they start laying down some hate as well. But they are profiled on top of the hill. They do lose their cover, and unfortunately I pay for that with my bravado. Here's the battlefield looking. Missing a whole lot of scout troopers thanks to Count Bane over here on the left side. And he's moving up his Cad Bane and his Dooku. We're ready to lay some hate, and he's got his B2s. I'm slowly whittling down those B2 troopers, little bit by little bit, with my stormtroopers. And unfortunately, you know, those boys are silhouetted. They lost their cover, so they get torn apart by incoming fire. I thought he would put his fire somewhere else. I was kind of hoping he would. I was trying to push up and tease him with a few targets. But unfortunately, he made the right choice and laid the hate on those poor stormtroopers. And they got whittled down to just the leader here in a bit. Yeah, see, and he goes boop, 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 and his droidicas turn, his droids turn, and the B2s turn as well. And they all 3 of them focused fire on that one squad, and the leader only survived because he was not visible. So it was a good idea in my head, but in practice, probably shouldn't have silhouetted him on the hill. Overall view, the scouts down here are putting wounds on Cad Bane. There's currently a gunslinger battle going on over there. The B2 jumped out. Gonna try and run over and try and grab the objective. And my stormtroopers are just pushing as hard as they can and as fast as they can into his deployment zone. Dooku cleans up an entire squad of scouts. Man, I'm always caught off guard by just how lethal that fucking old man is. Because he's got that lightning thing, and it always gets me off guard when he just fucking tasers units to death. And yeah, battlefield, stormtroopers still pushing up. I'm trying to push as hard as I can on that flank, get all my leaders into his deployment zone, so that way I can win the objective. I've done enough to where I've whittled down enough of his units where he has to like really try to get the objective, or try and pull back and try and stop me. I'm trying to make him choose the 2 fronts. Stormtroopers move up, they completely frag out the droids on top of the tower, so they get behind that cover now. And my objective is literally, I'm going to double move, just fucking rush in there and try and get those droids into CQB. That way he can't shoot me, and I can still get in the objective. First squad moves in. If you zoom in, I got a squad right there. That's currently, I think I was like 3 troopers who ran in and got into close combat with those droids. Couldn't hit them, but I could tie them up. And everyone else is kind of able to kind of peter in there. Veers is kind of poking around, throwing out aims and surges where he can. And now I'm pushing everyone up on my... So basically on his turn, he's pushing around Dooku and Cad Bane to try and take out Veers. And I'm pushing up on my troopers just to get in his deployment zone. Just trying to get in there as fast as possible, just blitzkrieg right through his lines and take the objective, and also keep Veers alive if possible. That's always nice. More of my squad's pushing in. Another glamour shot, I suppose. But Dooku, somehow the old man runs down my old man, and he goes in with combat with the Veers. And I'm like, oh, it's not good. It's not good. But thankfully, unlike Iden, I can get a few saves in there, and Veers is able to stay alive. Coming in, melee with the droid, smacking them down. Droidicas are just fucking laying down suppressive fire on anything they can touch. Cad Bane has pulled around, but he's pulled around too late. And thanks to this and keeping Veers alive and pushing on and blitzkrieging that flank, be able to win the objective and win the game. If he had pulled back Cad Bane a turn earlier, he would have been able to do a lot of damage and maybe stop me. But I just reacted a little too late and realized what I was doing a little too late, and I was able to push in there and take the objective from my leaders. Second game, Empire on Empire. He's got a heavy Death Trooper presence. I have a heavy Scout presence, just how I like it. But he's up by, I actually out-activate him by quite a few activations. He's got 2 of the big bitey lizards, 2 Death Troopers, a officer, and a few squads of Stormtroopers with a medical droid. So I actually out-activate him by a fairly far margin. Unfortunately, he ain't played in a while either, so he forgot that his lizard boys had Spur. And that allowed me enough time to more or less react to the lizards lumbering after me. Here's a line after I scout up, get all my boys in cover, Ida in cover, scouts in cover, trying to get them up there as fast as possible and more or less just get set up to take on those Death Troopers. Lizards pushing up. Again, if he had spurred, I'm pretty sure he would have gotten in. His goal was to push that lizard up and get in with Veers. And to be honest, I didn't think about that. A tactical error on my part. But unfortunately, he didn't spur. He forgot these guys had spur. So he might have been able to catch him. I'm not sure. But it would have made it definitely a lot easier. And as you can imagine, every gun in my army just focuses right on that lizard. I want that lizard thing dead before he touches my Veers. Because Veers has to survive. Iden, she's a fucking Tomahawk missile. Veers is my Abrams tank that has to survive. So every gun goes to that lizard. Also, the goal is to get all these little tokens for supplies. So again, every gun is just focusing on that lizard and plinking away at just as fast as they can to make sure he can't gobble up Veers. Meanwhile, his gun's taking plinks at Veers and people are taking pot shots at Veers. His troops moving up in the craters behind me, trying to seize up those objective tokens. My flank, as I move up, I push up, scout into the building. Iden behind the rocks, scouts there and scouts there, as well as a unit of troopers to kind of maybe do a little more heavy duty presence over there. I kind of put them there to either push forward towards the Death Troopers or move in towards the forest, one or the other. Lizard pops up and around the corner here on top of the objective and looking down at my boys. I kind of wrote that squad off. I was like, these guys are not going to fucking make it. But the dice do some extremely curious things, to say the least, as I smack my fucking microphone. So yeah, so scouts. I'm making a scout pocket more or less, and with these guys, I'm gonna play Iden's card, where she gives tactical 1 and steady to any like special forces trooper. So that's my plan there. That's my plan is to take Iden and those scouts and just fisticuff those scouts, those Death Troopers in the building. He's got both squads of Death Troopers in the building, so it's literally an elite versus elite battle over here. The Death Troopers are better on paper than my Scout Troopers, but it's all about dice, all about how you play them, supporting them, that kind of stuff. You know, this chair's awful. This side over here, I peel off that lizard, because those lizards don't fuck around. They have suppressive close combat attacks. You can't let them get into you. Veers takes 2 suppression and a wound. He's doing pretty good for all things considered, being facing down a giant death Komodo dragon over there. Overall battlefield look, scouts pushing up. He's not pushing up. He's trying to hang back, grab up tokens, and let his lizards and Death Troopers do the most damage that they can. And his goal is to try to snatch up at least 3, and then have his lizards whittle me down. Unfortunately, he forgot he had spur. That would help them. That would help that amount a lot here. So I play the card. This is my favorite card of Iden's, and in my opinion is her best card, because it turns these Special Forces troopers into absolute wrecking balls. So I play that card, I mark all my scouts, I mark Iden, and I get ready to push up and lay down the hate. My boys push up, and they do a hell of a lot of damage. This is my first scout troop. They steady up, and then they go up there, and they do that damage. He goes, I'm doing my death troopers, activates them, aims and shoots. I do duck and cover. So I move duck and cover, low profile, and then I roll hot on saves on white dice. So I'm pretty excited at this current point. Next squad runs up. Boom, 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 boom. Fucking firing pistols through the windows. And I do a bit more damage. My scouts are slowly peeling away at the death troopers. It's all working according to plan for now. For now. Things do take a bit of a turn for the worst. I also forgot that he had a whole squad back here hanging out. So that squad shifts fire to the left and then lays down some suppressive fire on these scout troopers and takes off 2 scout troopers. I completely spaced that fucking squad back there. I was like, oh, there are troopers back here. Ah, fuck. And they just turn and just fucking blast away at my scouts. Next squad moves up behind them, just within range of those death troopers. Boom, 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 boom. Take them out. So in one turn, I pushed up all my scouts. They've used their card and they have peeled away all the death troopers, leaving an officer down there in another squad in the top piece there. Lizard comes down. Lizard and the Lizard and the stormtroopers begin a fisticuff battle. My boys are punching the lizard as best as they can. Lizard's chompy, 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 but the saves are helping her. He's saving, I'm saving. It's just a fucking furball over here on the corner. The officer rolls up and starts taking pot shots at the scouts, trying to get more suppression on them. And she's just doing her best. He rolls hot on the black and white dice, and I believe he does a wound somewhere in here. I'm pretty sure he does. The officer actually got a lot of work done, believe it or not. My boys, they run up the hill, and so they move on top of the hill, and then they fucking throw frags at those stormtroopers up. I keep saying scout troopers. Throw frags at the stormtroopers in that building, do a host of damage. And that's kind of what I wanted, to remove that presence from the high ground. And with a bit of a supporting fire from below, just trying to get those crits through the window, I'm able to peel off all those stormtroopers. So the right, again, is looking pretty good for me. Not looking too bad. And it's going to allow me to run up and grab those objectives and kind of drag them back towards my lines. Yeah. And then my plan for this is to keep pushing up Iden and those scout troopers, and also pull these guys on the hill down and start smacking on the lizard. In the hopes that maybe, because, you know, I don't want to shoot whites. They have black melee dice. Might as well try and have them trying to smack the lizard down as hard as I can. But overall, battlefield look. And then these guys, boom, 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 start doing more damage. He goes first, I believe. He activates his death troopers. And death troopers start laying down a lot of fire. Their surges are insane. They are precise too, so they're rerolling 4 dice. I mean, it's like, fuck me, man. They have a lot of stuff going for them. I pulled that squad down, and I feel so bad for punching this lizard as much as I was, but I needed the lizard to die. And it's just literally a lizard turning and biting while getting clubbed by these fucking stormtroopers. And yeah, that's my right flank. Overall battlefield look, I believe Iden has died somewhere in here because the death troopers, or something happened where I tried to roll saves for Iden and she just fucking failed horribly and died horribly again. She is 0 for 2 for like, I take all the fire and then like I just, you know, she just dies. I can't roll any saves. While over here on the right flank, I can roll saves all day long. These guys can roll saves all day long. Iden can't roll a save to save her life, and keeps dying to like these like most like piddly stuff. It's just the most frustrating thing. Scouts are still rolling up. Scouts are blasting away. They have concussion grenades. They're trying to concuss fucking through the cover at the death troopers. They're just doing their best over here. Doing their best to try and whittle away at the 2 elite units still left in the building without Iden. Other one moves up. Like, basically, I have scout troopers storming this building, throwing grenades, blasting away with their pistols to try and do their best. Aiden cannot support them because she died like a turd again due to bad rolls. But what are you going to do about it? You can't do nothing about it. It's just going to be like that. Sometimes it just be like that. The squad moves up, starts trying to... I move them up simply to try and just put fire on that squad so they won't shoot at my scouts. I had to take fire off the scouts. So these guys move up and start laying down fire on the stormtrooper unit, hiding behind heavy cover, just to try and give them something else to shoot at besides my scouts. Over here, the lizard is slowly winning the war of attrition, but I am putting wounds on him. He's about 2 wounds away from dying, but he is chomping on my boys. So it's just a absolute slugfest, slogging foot battle with the fucking lizard. And unfortunately, you know, he's focusing those scouts super hard. He knows what I can do with them because I've done it to him before. And he don't like that. He hates how I play scouts. So he's like, no scouts. And he's just blasting away at those scouts. And, you know, I can't blame him. I can't blame him. Over here, still slapping away at the lizard. Just doing my best to try and kill him. Airplane. And, yeah, it's really bad over here on the right flank. Same as always. These guys, they get shot a little bit from the other squad. A lot of crits go through, and they peel off a few stormtroopers. I didn't see that coming. I have another squad over here pushing through. Their goal is to push through and frag the absolute hell out of that stormtrooper squad, just to try and get him to drop that token. He has a token. I want him to drop it and not have it. That way I can try and win the objective, and that requires push, push, push. Over here, the officer jumps out and backhands she jumps out and just backhands this fucking scout trooper to death. And I was like, that is so rude. My goal was to leave her alone because, you know, I liked the fact he brought the model, didn't want to kill it. And unfortunately, my mercy led to a scout trooper getting fucking KO'd by her. I was like, okay, fine, we'll play that game. And, yeah, so that's how that looks over there. My 2 scout troopers left. Still blasting away through the windows. He has a very, very small amount of death troopers left in that building. But they are dug in like ticks, and I just cannot get them out of there. They are stuck in there. They want to stay there in that building where they're safe. And then I kind of turn, and I kind of blast her in the back, and she dies. So both these scouts turn, and just fucking gun down that officer for backhanding my fucking scout to death, which was super rude, uncalled for, and just completely unnecessary. Over here, I push in a unit. I run the unit across the way with that stormtrooper squad so they can't shoot me or shoot, for that matter, anyone else, because they are just stuck in there with a medical droid and hard to kill. This squad moves over, and they also get into close combat. The goal is just trying to beat them down with black dice as hard as possible, while moving another squad up to try and finish them off. I'm a bit desperate here, and my goal is just to get in there and try and do what I can. When Aiden dies to dumb shit like that, it just throws off my entire game plan. I turn to like more desperate tactics, like full body rush, and you know, it's not very fun. But I wish Aiden had survived a lot later in the game. But sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. So I push him up and get him into close combat. Actually, no, this squad kills the lizard. Lizard finally dies. Both squads are technically still there. The leader's still alive. So I run them up, and they grab that token and get me another objective marker. One scout left over here. Death troopers went up, gunned down the last scout. I have one lad left over there. What I should have done over here, I should have taken the scout, run him down, grab the token, and try and survive and run off with it. What do? I run into the fucking building. I was like, fuck you, bruh. I run into the building. Shouldn't have done that. Over here, more slap fighting ensues. His whole back line's a melee fight right now. And due to my stupidness, the scout gets gunned down. I should have ran him away. Did I? No. I could have ran him behind this cover over here, gotten low profile, duck and cover, and light cover for cover 3, but did I? No. I did a dum-dum, and I paid the price. I learned. Over here, last turn of the game, he has one scout still alive, or one stormtrooper still alive. He still holds the objective, and I'm like, I can't take it. And this battle here more or less confirmed the game as a tie because I could not get that token. But yeah, this is the overall battle scene. As you can tell, it's an absolute slaughter fest over here. Nope, not much left alive. And we tied on the objective, which is unfortunate. But it was a very, very fun game. It was so good to play Legion again. I have more fun playing Legion than most other games nowadays. I still play 9th Age. It's not as much because I get more fun out of Legion. It scratches that 40k itch that we all have in the Star Wars. I'm going to be building. I have my clones. Might do a few clone games next. I'm going to start building rebels and then droids. And hopefully have all 4 armies going. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the bat rep. This has been Guard Bro, and I'll see you next time, whenever that's going to be, whatever time that is, and however sober I am. See y'all next time.